Jack, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure thing. I have, in number 5, I have Robbie Lawler versus Manhoff. So that was still Strikeforce days. I think that overhand right that he gets him with is just like, I don't know, it's iconic. And just that whole fight was just like a brawl fest. I mean, Robbie Brawler. I know that's ruthless Robbie Lawler, but like, I don't know. It was right there. And then for number 4, I have him versus Lindland. Lindland, yeah. Lindland. And also Strikeforce days. I don't, that KO was crazy. And just to see, I don't know, it was like a battle. It was a real battle. And like the heart that Robbie showed was just like, I don't know, phenomenal. Like definitely one of the best careers that we've seen. The longest. It's got to be around there.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Possibly. In at number 3, I have Robbie Lawler versus Hendricks 1. I mean, like, what a battle. He ended up losing, but in the 5th round, just like slugfest. And also just this, he was smiling while fighting, which is just like, I don't know, the most Robbie Lawler thing that someone can do. And yeah, it was just really like super entertaining fight. Just an iconic like performance from him. And yeah, in at number 2, I have Robbie Lawler versus Nate Diaz 1, which he also lost via TKO. I mean, I have it at number 2 just because it set up the second fight as well, so it's kind of like a bonus one. But yeah, just really amazing performance with like 2 of like the phenoms of the sport at the time. It was just so massive. And yeah, for number 1, I mean, of course it's going to be McDonald too. It's got to be, there's that moment leading into the 5th round, like at the end of the 4th, where he's like looks at him and like spits his blood and like he's ready to carry on fighting. And yeah, just the way that fight ended, where it was, like one lost, and then that's all she wrote. Yeah, it was just like, yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah, iconic.
Good list, man. I think 1 or 2 of yours on my honorable mentions. We've got a couple of the same ones, but I've gone for number 5. I've gone Nick Diaz at UFC 47. I've only gone for it because he did end up losing. And it was a mini upset because he was a slight favorite on Nick Diaz. And there's that iconic moment where you just see Nick Diaz like saying, Stockton. Let's say the second word. And you just see Robbie Lawler's face like, what the hell's going on? I mean, he dropped Diaz in that fight a couple of times. He was beating him, but again, dude, Diaz is just so durable. And also, I mean, it was early on in their careers. I mean, Diaz was 20. So it's kind of more an iconic moment for Diaz. But it was just so fun because Robbie Lawler, you could just see, even though he was like shook and taken back, he was just so game to fight. So I've got that in at number 5. In at number 4, I've gone for Robbie Lawler versus Manouf from Strikeforce Miami. Man, Manouf stormed him with shots in that fight. And this is where you saw the durability of Robbie Lawler not for the first time, but like really, really on display with someone strong and seasoned storming him. And that really translated through to his later title run when he was in the UFC, where it was like almost like you couldn't knock him out. Like you talk about the McDonald fight, how many shots he took and other fights. So that started sort of for me, I know Ruthless was his nickname before, but like that was like really, really ruthless moment. And it showcased his knockout power, which took him quite far in his UFC career.
Yeah.
In at number 3, I've gone for Lawler versus McDonald 1 at UFC 167. I mean, this obviously set up the second fight because it was so close. It was a split decision victory. There was a back and forth contest. Lawler, I think it was, I wrote here because I saw it again, the moderate underdog. And yeah, I think, the momentum just started to go with Lawler eventually. And it was a back and forth battle that set up the second fight. Yeah. So that has to be in there. So in at number 2, I've gone for Lawler versus Murillo Ninja Hua, which is Shogun's brother. This is from Elite XC in, I believe, 2007. For a couple of reasons. First off, this was where Robbie Lawler also like showcased constant pressure. Ninja being such a good jiu-jitsu practitioner, that was always a risk, and Robbie Lawler just neutralized it. Like it didn't even look like it wasn't a struggle for him. And it was really his first major title. I know he had a title win previously in an organization, but Elite XC back then was actually a pretty big organization. And the KO itself, dude, is just scary. So
I haven't seen that one.
that's in at number 2. Yeah, you should watch that one's really good. It's a bit old. I mean, the clips and stuff are very hazy because it's 16 years ago, but really, really good. And again, in my honorable mentions, before I get to number 1, I've gone for the Frank Trigg fight. Of course, that is actually his first title, not major title. And then I've also gone for the Lin for exactly the same reasons that you've gone in. In at number 1, could it be anything else? It's got to be Lawler versus McDonald 2, UFC 189, which is in itself an amazing, amazing card, which we'll maybe cut to another time. But dude, it was just a battle of wills. I mean, it was back and forth, and it was like they were both having success. I mean, Robbie Lawler's lip was busted up. Rory McDonald's face was busted up. I mean, his nose in particular, it was bloody. It was ruthless, no pun intended. And again, like you say, that iconic stare down at the end of round 4 is just insane. And the fact that McDonald wanted to continue but just couldn't. I mean, there was just one shot too many. It just smashed his nose up completely to pieces. So that has to be number 1. One of the greatest fights of all time and one of the greatest cards of all time for the title. That's it, settling the rivalry. So that's my number 1.
Nice. I like your list.
Thank you. Yeah. So that was our weekly top 5. Let us know your thoughts on the top 5. Let us know what top 5 you want to see next week, and who you have in your top 5 for Robbie Lawler's all-time fights. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that clip, I've got another one for you over here and over here. Please don't forget to subscribe over here and have a look at my other socials down in the description box below. Thanks for watching.